Avengers Doomsday is coming. And now, according to a report that's going around, it has either already now wrapped production or is wrapping production this week. Comicbookmovie.com is reporting that Doomsday wraps shooting much sooner than we anticipated. And they are quoting Daniel RPK, or Daniel Rickman, who's reporting that the movie will wrap as soon as this week. And that's all done. Now, I was in the live chat earlier and somebody asked, isn't that kind of short? Short. Guys, they started shooting this movie in April. A lot of people forget, a lot of film fans sometimes forget that, or never knew or realized, like they think it takes years to make a movie. Sometimes, yes, but the actors, not so much. On average, an actor is on set of a movie for like 25 days, or they're even just doing principal photography for 30, 45, sometimes 60 days. Maybe even a big one will be 90 days of actual shooting. But the vast majority of the work that goes into the movie happens before the cameras start rolling and after the cameras stop rolling. That's by far the biggest timeshare. So for the actual shooting production, this thing will April, May, June, July, August, September, we're getting into October. This thing's been shooting 5 to 6 months. And as Rob often points out so accurately, every hour you are in production is costing millions. So the fact that they even have a shoot that this is this long is wild and impressive. And don't forget, they still need now to roll into shooting Secret Wars. So I don't think that if it does indeed wrap this week, I, number one, don't think that's a surprise. Number two, with the fact that they moved the release date for this into December of next year, this gives them a universe of time to get all the post-production buttoned up. I mean, I still completely believe, Rob, this film would easily be ready to be put out in August of next year. I have no doubt it would be. But they've bought themselves even more time to do it. So they're going to be all set, ready to go. And now they can focus on getting production rolling on this. Plus, the other thing is this. Don't forget, guys, that Kevin Feige has repeated many, many, many times. Every Marvel movie, when being scheduled, plans for reshoots in advance. It used to be, there was a time in Hollywood that reshoots were a last-ditch resort to save a movie. And if you ever heard of a movie doing reshoots, that was bad news. But that's just not Hollywood today, especially with tentpole films. Kevin Feige said many times, listen, we just know that we're going to have fresh ideas when we're in the edit room, something that we think would work, didn't work, or we come up with a new idea. So they plan in advance to book the actors and book locations for a number of weeks, that if they want to do pickup shots, they can. So I'm sure we're going to hear about some pickup shots being done a little bit in the future, but for the most part, the main shooting on Avengers Endgame or Avengers Doomsday is now complete. And if that's true, the timing works, all that kind of stuff, and gives themselves plenty of time. If that's true, Rob, and they have been shooting since April, it is amazing how little has actually come out about it.
That's what I was saying this morning. Remember, it was just like, this thing's almost wrapped and we might have an image that we think is official.
Yeah, look, we had a couple of pictures of like a couple of characters standing around in set and costume and stuff like that. A couple of those things come up, but nothing that would be considered surprising, nothing that would be considered revelatory, nothing that would be considered shocking. And considering all the eyes in the movie universe, in the movie fandom universe, it would be the hottest scoop in the world. All the eyes have been on it. If they've been shooting this thing for 6 months and have kept it so buttoned up in a world where every single human being now walks around with a highly advanced global audio-visual communication device in their pockets. By the way, iPhone 17 is out now. I'm still rocking the 13. It works great. Anyway.
I still have my Note 20.
Dude, I'm telling you, I am really tempted for that Fold 7.
I love my Note 20.
I am really tempted to go back to Samsung for that Fold 7.
The Fold 7 or 8, once, depending on when I get it. I'm doing a Fold for sure.
Listen, I don't mean to ruffle any feathers. I have an iPhone. I use an iPad. I'm sitting in front of my Mac computer. I have my Mac laptop. I'm an all Mac guy. Android is better. Sorry,
Oh.
it just is. And I say that as an iPhone user. Anyway, guys, we want to thank the sponsor of today's episode, PrizePicks. Look, you and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right actually means you win. And with football back, there is no better time to get in on the action. You guys know I've been using PrizePicks for a while now, and it's honestly the most fun I've had engaging with the new football season already. For example, this weekend, I had Josh Allen throwing for more than 270 passing yards, and Baker Mayfield having more than 2.5 passing touchdowns, and boom, I won on both. Building your lineups on PrizePicks is fast, simple, and honestly extremely fun. All you have to do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections, and if you're right, you win. What's even better is that PrizePicks invented the flex play, which means you can still win even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Plus, they've even got this thing called injury reboots, so if a player goes down in the first half, it won't count against you. And PrizePicks operates in more than 40 states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. So download the app today and use code CAMPEA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CAMPEA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. Rob, getting back to what we're really here to talk about, does this line up with what you would expect if the principal photography on Doomsday is wrapping this week? What does that tell you, if anything, and where does this leave your expectations for the film at the moment?
Well, ever since Peter Jackson did Lord of the Rings, and they had long pickups, quote unquote pickups, there's this idea that movies are you're supposed to be on set and you're going to capture all the magic you need while you're doing it. And you're running and gunning and you never have enough time. And it's kind of absurd on these gigantic tentpole movies to think you're going to get everything you need, because as you're cutting, especially with an ensemble cast, it's very iterative. You're changing things. And I think what's really interesting about this is I'll bet you they built in quite the extensive reshoot schedule into the schedule.
Yeah. So
they shot the movie, they shot what they think they're going to get. Now they can cut it together, but they've been cutting it together as they're going anyway. So they're looking at what they need. And how does this, we heard that they were going to also shoot Secret Wars concurrently, which I bet they've done some things that was...
Well, they said they were going to shoot it back to back.
Yeah, but I'm
but
sure
I think
that...
you're right. I would imagine if they've got a set already there and constructed, and they know they've got a scene in the next movie that takes place in this exact set, they would probably try to do some redundancy
and scheduling there. And things that are being iterative and stuff. So they have enough. They don't have. They don't have unlimited money. They have to have to watch their budget, but they've got a lot of time. I mean, they ultimately they'll run out of time, but they've got a lot of time now. Now the way you make these tentpole movies is you cut them together. You see where you're at. Where are we at? Does it play well? What do we need? So they're going to be able to look at this and go, okay, well, we can change this, we can change this. And then as Secret Wars is developing and it's shooting, they're still making Endgame. They can really hone both films. They need to pick something up. Okay, today on Secret Wars, we're going to go back and redo something for Doomsday. I think with a movie, like if they're spending $1 billion making these two movies, they're doing it the right way. At least we know this isn't being rushed into production, that we've heard, okay, they don't have quite the finished script, or they're having a script that things are changes are being made. They have the time. And I think they needed it. And I think that's a good thing. And like for me, I'm like, okay, they stopped principal photography in September and the movie's not coming out till December of next year. That means the effects are on their way. The scenes are, everything is going to come together the way they've foreseen it. And Secret Wars, if it's not coming out till 2027 and they roll in, maybe they take some time off. However, that's going to, second unit's going to go shoot action sequences, whatever they're going to do. Principal's wrapped, good for them. They might be shooting second unit stuff for the rest of the year. Who knows? I think this is good. And if nothing else, it makes me feel more excited about these movies, that they have the time they need to make them good, because I am dubious. I don't care about the Avengers. I don't know who's in the Avengers. I don't have the excitement I had for Infinity War and Endgame. So if they're going to give me a great product and make the movies great, which they can do, this excites me. It excites me.
By the way, you kind of mentioned something. I saw somebody else in the live chat mention that they went in and made this movie without a finished script. Marvel executive producer Louis D'Esposito talked about this recently, and he said, of course we had a finished script when we started shooting. Like, he just debunked that whole thing. He said, of course we had a finished script before we started shooting Avengers Doomsday. But like what happens on all of Kevin's movies, ideas come up, writers start rewriting
Yes.
pages.
That's what I should say.
Yeah, famously,
It's iterative. That's
You
what
can't you can't have a budget unless you have a completed script.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, famously, like there
You
was
can't schedule a movie without a completed script.
right. There was a Thor film that just everything was clunky, and they literally flew in Joss Whedon to just punch up dialogue, and those ended up being the best moments of Thor: The Dark World. But like they're constantly coming up with new dialogue, they're constantly doing all that kind of stuff, and that kind of got interpreted as they started shooting the movie without having a finished script. No, D'Esposito says we had a finished script. Of course we did, but the final product will be different a little bit from the script anyway. Just a little bit of an aside there. Anyway, guys, question is for you. Apparently, according to these reports, I can't independently verify, but according to these reports we've been looking at, they're going to finish or have finished shooting Avengers Doomsday this week. It's becoming closer and closer to being a tangible reality. If so, what does that say to you about it? Do you think they have enough time to get all the post-productions can be done while they're shooting another movie, by the way, to release for Christmas of next year? Whatever you guys think about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.